relaunches his political career as he announces the formation of the United Party ahead of the 2028 elections.
Those core values have diminished. People now want to be authoritarians, and therefore when they lead a party, they think the party belongs to them.
We'll be live at the launch grounds. Also, former Health Minister Bernard Okoboy accuses the NDC government of abandoning completed and commissioned Agenda 111 project and also starving contractors of the needed funds to complete the La General Hospital project. And later on,
we are committed to protecting the integrity of Lumba, and we are ready to work within time to ensure that on the day that has been set, the funeral will come on.
A brewing family feud over who is the legal wife of late High Life legend Daddy Lumba has spilled into the courtroom, casting shadows over his planned funeral. My name is Grace Hammoah Agyemang. Details of this and more in the next 30 minutes. Stay with us. Many thanks for joining us. Let's begin the bulletin from here. Feud over who is the legal wife of late High Life legend Daddy Lumba has spilled into the courtroom, casting a shadow over his planned funeral. A Kumasi High Court has adjourned until October 28, 2025, the case filed by the musician's wife, Akosua Sewa, who is fighting to be declared his only surviving spouse and the sole person entitled to perform the sacred widowhood rite at his funeral. My colleague Ibrahim Abubakar was in court and joins us for more on this details. Ibrahim, talk to us. Bring us up to speed on this latest suit. Ibrahim, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great, go ahead.
So even though we know the family has announced December 6 and 2025 are the final funeral rite for the iconic singer and born Charles Kojo, we do know that this legal showdown is likely to disrupt that funeral. In court today, we had legal representative of both the plaintiff and the defendant, and the lawyers were before Justice Orinda Atta. And Sewa, or Akosua Sewa, is in court to challenge the case. She wants to be declared as the surviving spouse of the late Charles Kojo, known as Daddy Lumba. So today, the plaintiff's legal team fiercely opposed this, insisting that the court must first address their concern, because the defendant also brought in another motion saying they are challenging Akosua Sewa's very right to bring the case to court as the legal wife. So today, the judge decided that, well, since this is someone who is a national icon, a national treasure, he advised both parties to go and settle the case amicably, like out-of-court settlement. But if they are unable to do so, they should return on October 28, where he will also start with the legal process. But the assurance he gave them was that they will ensure that this is done in a speedy matter, because she will prioritize the case. So the family, both parties, are also hopeful that the case will end even before the scheduled date for the funeral, so that it doesn't affect the funeral. So today, both parties were in court, and the process, I'm sure, will start. That is October 28th, if they are unable to settle this matter amicably. But after the court, we spoke to the counsel for the plaintiff, William Squishy, and let's see what he has been telling us.
Unfortunately, you know the posture of the head of family from the beginning. That is the cause of the problem. If letters are written to you denying of your right as a wife. I'm sure that you can't just sleep and let it pass by. So that is the originating. I have the sister of Lumba here, and she represented Akosua Sewaa in court today. And this demonstrates the kind of love the family has for Akosua Sewaa. You get the point. So those out there who are making noise and making statements, they need to understand how all these things played out. And they should know that Akosua Sewaa is the victim, not Odobroni. We are committed to protecting the integrity of Lumba. And we are ready to work within time to ensure that on the day that has been set, the funeral will come on. And that is our project. And that's what we are going to do.
That was William Kusi, counsel for plaintiff. Ibrahim, so this means that going forward, the families or the two parties will appear in courts on 28th October. Before that, the court is hopeful they can do the out-of-court settlement, right?
Exactly. So that's why the court has given them up to that time. If they agree that this will be done out of court settlement, then the court will abide by that, because that's what the judge even wants. She said, this is a man who has lived a good life and is a legend in the country. So at least they should allow him to rest in peace and not engage in all this illegal drama, dragging his name back and forth. But if they are unable to settle amicably,
then they should return on October 28th. Exactly. All right, Ibrahim, thank you for those updates. My colleague Ibrahim Abubakar bringing us up to speed on that family feud over who is the legal wife of the late high life legend. Let's move away from that and do other stories. After breaking away from the NPP on September 25-23 and launching the movement for change soon after, Alan Kojo Chemating made his independent debut in the 2024 presidential election, securing 31,000 votes, representing 0.28%. Today, in a new twist to his political journey, Alan has announced the formation of a new political party, United Party or UP, rather adopting an old name from its mother party, the New Patriotic Party. Another attempt to become the third force in Ghanaian politics and to break the duopoly of the NPP and NDC. My colleague Noble Crosby Annan is there for us. But while we do that, let's also connect with Lord Edu Asari, and then we'll bring you a lot more on this. Meanwhile, Boniface Abubakar from the party has also been speaking. Maybe we can listen to him and then bring you a lot more on that.
Bafwa Koto was CPP, but by the instructions of Asantehene, he quickly moved around the whole country, pulled all the parties together, and then they came and formed a party called UP, United Party, because it was broad-based. It was no longer religion. It was no longer tribal ethnicity or regionalism. So this is what our new party is about. We believe in the old values, the core values that help to establish UP. But those core values have diminished. People now want to be authoritarians, and therefore when they lead a party, they think the party belongs to them.
Boniface Abubakar is a member of the newly formed UP United Party. Let's also listen to Yao Bobin Asama, who was a former member of the NPP and now also in the United Party.
We are saying that the first problem is winner takes all. Why and how is the winner takes all coming up? The Constitution has an article, 63.4 and 63.5, which says that whenever there is an election, you must get 50 plus 1% before you win, correct? And that if nobody gets 50 plus 1, there must be a runoff. So when you have an election, there's a runoff. What happens is that the bigger party who is ahead will come and see smaller parties, collect their support and their vote, and go and deliver 50 plus 1, after which they'll go into government alone and leave the people who help them. And then they'll go and get strong and powerful and fat in government, and smaller parties struggle. And who are in the smaller parties? The people who can really contribute.
Well, let's listen to Alan Chemating, the man of the moment.
And our mission as a party is to build a united, peaceful, secure, and prosperous country. Can you become the economic powerhouse of Africa if you are divided? No. Can you become the economic powerhouse of Africa if there's no peace in your country? Can you become the powerhouse if you are not secure as a nation? And also, our mission is to provide equal opportunity for all Ghanaians, not for some, but for all Ghanaians. What we have been witnessing since independence is that the opportunities are open for only a few people. The United Party is going to change that dynamics in Ghanaian politics. And it is to provide the opportunity for every Ghanaian to realize their full potential. If you want to become a carpenter, want to become the best carpenter in Ghana. If you are an electrician, we want you to become the best electrician. The soul and strength of every political organization is anchored on its values. You are nobody. You will become rich, but then if you don't have values, then nobody respects you. And so your value system as a political organization, for me, is your anchor.
That was Alan Kojo Chemating, leader of the newly launched UP United Party. Let's quickly touch base with our colleague who was at the launch of the event, Noble Crosby. And Crosby, if you can hear me, talk to us about this new launch by Alan Kojo Chemating, the atmosphere in the room and the demeanor and acceptance of Ghanaians who were there at the event.
Well, it's mainly a room full of the party supporters, the United Party supporters, and the idea of the party is to break the duopoly of the NPP and the MDC so that there will be the next party in government come 2028 or the election period after. And they are telling us that they are ready. They have one aim, is to make sure that they transform the entire country into one that we are both expecting. What they're telling us at the moment is that Alan Chemating, for instance, says that he has the aim to make Ghana an economic powerhouse in Africa by the year 2040. As well as, transform leadership, bring leadership with integrity, among other things. The reception has been good. A few other people were invited from various civil society organizations. The launch is ongoing, and the party is telling us it's all.
All right. Crosby, thank you for those updates. Noble Crosby, and my colleague bringing us updates on the launch of the new UP United Party. This afternoon, let's just stay on it and talk to political science analyst and pollster Professor Smart Sapon. Prof, thank you for joining us. The name UP is definitely not new to politics in the country, isn't it?
Well, good afternoon, my sister, and a good afternoon to our cherished listeners. Of course, UP, very old name. I do not want to believe that the name is sourced from the old UP. Perhaps it is a new name, but even if it is sourced from the old UP, I still don't see it as much of a problem. You remember we were in an empire called Ghana Empire. Our country was called Gold Coast. But at independence, we felt that we should relate to our past, maybe where we had migrated from, and so we picked the name Ghana and all those things. So for me, the name debate's fine, not much of a concern. The interesting thing is that it looks like the entire team of Movement for Change is metamorphosing into UP.
Yes.
And yes, the vision, aspiration, the thing they seek to do is not too different from what Movement for Change wanted to do, to break the duopoly of NDC MPP. We were told this on the formation of Movement for Change. So it's like the same thing. And all those things, yeah. So my worry now is how the structures are going to be put in place to make their output or impact on the political landscape in Ghana.
Exactly. I was going to ask you, when you look at the new UP, combining it with the values the Movement for Change had, what do you make of this new political direction, now fledging into a new political party, looking at the vote they secured in the previous election and all? What new change will that make for Ghana's political landscape?
Well, fortunately for them, they have some time now. The last time, they didn't have much time. Now they have 3 clear years into the next general election. What I would want to see them do, if they really want to make impact, is to start from the branch level and try to recruit some members to represent them at the base. Then they move to electoral areas, constituencies, regional, and then the national. And then the structures must be built such that it becomes a living structure, a structure that welcomes new people into it, a structure that is amenable. It appears that there is this old thinking in some politicians, and they begin to lose sight on the changes, the modernization that comes into politics year in, year out. So if they become amenable to change, they take the input of the youth, they gain grounds from branch upwards, then they can become, first of all, stable political party. Their impact in the coming election 2028 will not be much. They must seek to stability or stabilizing the party first. And then in the next opportunity, 2032, perhaps they can seek to become a third force or make an impact. But that is even going to be subject to whether the NDC and the NPP are going to break their ranks and fail to unite and maybe unable to manage their internal affairs. Then their spillover may be to the advantage of new political parties that may be formed. But if they continue to unite, if they continue to see the need to unite, I mean the NDC and the NPP, and they continue to be formidable, then the UP and new political parties may have to do fresh grooming, which may take them some time beyond the 8 years I'm suggesting for them. But it takes a while. I mean, it takes a while. So they must not rush into winning power 2028. They must not rush into. They shouldn't be disappointed even if they don't win power 2032. It takes some time. Perhaps at a time where some of these leaders might be weak, some young people who may take over from them may make the necessary impact that they seek.
All right. Prof, thank you for talking to us. Political scientist and poster, Professor Smart Sapon there. This is the Media News on 3FM 92.7. Time now for a breather. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. This is the Media News on 3FM 92.7. My name is Grace Hammoah Agyemang. Let's go to the quarters of the NDC because the party chair, Johnson Estiedun-Ketia, says the NDC has regained full control of the Volta region. Addressing a gathering in Akache North as part of his tour of the region, he urged party members to remain steadfast in their support for the party, emphasizing that the Mahama-led administration will bring the needed development the region deserves.
It was during President Rawlings's time alone that we were able to win all the constituencies. After that, anytime there is election, there is one mistake somewhere or the other. So we lose one seat. When we were together with OT and Volta, if it is not Akan, then even Agulon, we lost it once to an independent candidate. So apart from President Rawlings's time, this is the only time that we have won all the seats in Volta region, including OT as well, 100%. So this is an election of a different type, and the credit is due you. Stay steadfast so we can retain power for long.
He also called on Ghanaians to support the government in its efforts to recover all money stolen from the state, while cautioning appointees of the NDC government to shy away from corruption.
We know when we do that to them, they also do it to us. But we are ready for it because we will not waste the nation's resources. And so anytime you hear that we are arresting them and they are crying, you must be clapping. After all, Dr. Bawumia himself came out and apologized for all the misgovernance that they have visited onto Ghanaians. Didn't you hear him? So if he comes and says that they have done things wrong, they have messed the country up, and we have come, we want to hold them responsible. Shouldn't it be the MPP who should be clapping for us for correcting the wrong things that they have done? Why are they blaming us? Some are saying we are arresting them because they are MPP. And why not? Was it no MPP that was in government? So if we are holding people accountable, should we leave them there and go and hold PNC people or CPP people accountable? It is the MPP people we will hold accountable.
Chairman of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia. There, let's speak to our man in the Volta region, Faisal Abdul Idris. So, Faisal, we know the NDC chair has also been speaking about security recruitment and all. Talk to us more about this.
Yes, so Mr. Asiedu Nketia, yesterday in their catching of constituency, so the chiefs and party members gathered that the NDC government is committed to ensuring that recruitment to the various security agencies this year will take a different approach. What he emphasized is that the government would ensure that there is regional balance, such that what used to be the process in the past, he said, was that people were recruited based on their surnames and ethnicity largely, and that the government is departing from that process to ensure that the regions have proper representation in the various security agencies.
What was the response in the room to this message?
Applause, because there has been that sentiment across board that people tell you that because they bear a certain name or they come from a certain part of this country, when the opportunities of a sort come up, they are not able to get it. And now that he is telling them that the NDC government is committed to ensuring a regional balance, they commended him and received that very statement with applause.
Faisal, thank you for those updates. Faisal Abdul Idris, our correspondent in the Volta region. Away from the Volta region, let's go to the Ashanti region, because the police in Obuasi is currently investigating a shooting incident which has left 6 people hospitalized, including a toddler in the Obuasi East District of the Ashanti region. The shooter is currently on the run. According to reports, a wild jubilation of a court ruling over a chieftaincy issue triggered what some eyewitnesses describe as a freaky shooting. The sis is believed to have been hit by a stray bullet. Kofi Cole, a relative of one of the jubilant's families, is alleged to have fired the gunshot, and some of the victims spoke to the media. We'll bring you that. Let's quickly speak with our man in the region. Evans, we know you have been following up on this story. Talk to us. What is the latest now?
Well, great. So 4 of the victims have been discharged from the Mary Akutu Hospital at Asomkori, a community in the Obuasi East district, of course, where the incident happened. 2 of them, a toddler, we understand he's nearing his 2nd birthday. He sustained some injury on the leg and part of the hand. He has been referred to the Confanoji Teaching Hospital. Of course, his mother too, she also sustained wounds on her thigh. She's also been transferred to the Confanoji Teaching Hospital. We understand the two of the victims have been experiencing some complications. The reason why they are now receiving further treatment at the Confanoji Teaching Hospital, and that they were referred yesterday. Latter part of yesterday, and that is what I have been told at the moment. So that is the current update. We also understand that the Kofi Cole, the suspect, is still at large. But one thing has been established that, many have been saying, I'm talking about eyewitnesses, that it was a freaky shooting. Wild jubilation triggered that particular shooting. So it was actually shooting to showcase some level of jubilation after a protracted litigation over a parcel of land among some feuding family members.
Okay. Evans, thank you for those updates. My colleague in the Ashanti region and also our Northern Bureau Chief William Evans Inkum with that update. We can now listen to what the victims have been telling us.
And the 2 minutes said, near Quaco air time, our Nimu. Tindy said, Plague Biba. No bit to no create you. To me, imagine refusal.
I was going to buy airtime outside, and in the course, I saw a tricycle move towards me with a man holding a gun. The next thing I heard was a gunshot. I decided to run, then I noticed a wound on my hand with blood oozing. I noticed that I wasn't the only one shot, but the shot was from the man in the tricycle. We were a lot there, and I wasn't the only one affected. The shot affected another man at his occiput.
To me, I'm here to me, John, Missassi. A pie, I'm Mujahed. Missy, I'm a
Well, let's move away from that unfortunate incident. The Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, ICAG, has announced a partnership with the Ghana Police Service to clamp down on accountants involved in corrupt practices and unethical behavior. As the regulator of the accountancy profession in Ghana, the institute says the move is part of efforts to sanitize the system. President of the institute, Augustine Addo, made this announcement at this year's presidential luncheon held in Accra. There's more in this.
For over 5 years, the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, ICAG, has been cracking down on corruption within the profession, revoking the licenses of more than 20 chartered accountants. These professionals were implicated in various acts of misconduct, ranging from fraud and unethical behavior to direct involvement in corrupt practices. Some were found to have colluded with microfinance institutions to defraud unsuspecting and vulnerable clients. The 2024 Auditor General's report paints a grim picture. More than 15 million cedis was misappropriated by accountants across various institutions. Of that amount, over 4 million cedis was lost to financial irregularities alone. This growing trend continues to pose a serious threat to the integrity of the accounting profession, prompting concern from the regulator, the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana. The president of ICAG, Augustine Addo, has now issued a strong warning pledging to collaborate with the Ghana Police Service to arrest and prosecute offending accountants.
We are working in close partnership with the Ghana Police Service and other security agencies to clamp down on unethical behavior among accounting personnel in the country through the dedicated work of the Discipline Committee of the Institute of Chartered Accountants. We are sending a clear message. Misconduct has consequence. Uprightness has reward.
President of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, ending the midday news on 3FM 92.7. My name is Grace Hammoah Agyemang. Log on to 3news.com and get some more stories. You can also like and follow all our pages on social media. It's 3FM 927. Many thanks for joining us. Up next is Business Daily with Bismarck Ewisa.
FM 92.7, Urban Lifestyle Radio Station.
Hello, good afternoon. Time now for Business Daily on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck Ausa. Coming out this afternoon, finance and tax expert warns Christmas import surge could cloud cedi's strong gains.
Risk factor has to do with the pressure on the FX for importation. We have realized that every year, getting closer to Christmas, the cedi always depreciates.
Also ahead, Minister for Labour, Jobs and Employment hints of modernizing cooperative law after 56 years.
Promoting digital innovation and expanding access to financial services for youth, women, and informal sector access.
Plus, Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, COMAC, projects fuel price reductions up to 4.46% starting today.
Ghana stands the chance, if we put our efforts into it, to be the breadbasket.
I am Bismarck Ausa. Will bring you details of our headlines and other stories shortly. Thanks for your company. Now to the details. The cedi, currently enjoying a firm rebound on the foreign exchange market, faces a significant underlying risk from the surge in import payments expected for the Christmas and New Year festivities. That's according to finance and tax expert Nelson Kujokwabeji. The local currency has strengthened sharply over the past 2 weeks, largely propelled by strong central bank actions, including aggressive forex market interventions and rising export inflows from commodities like gold and cocoa. This performance has been hailed as a significant victory for policy interventions aimed at macroeconomic stability.
Just recently, the Bank of Ghana intended injecting $1.15 billion to support the operations of the FX market. And so all these factors are contributing towards the stability of the Ghanaian cedi. As it stands now, Ghana cedi is the best performing currency in Africa, and having performed well over 20% since the beginning of the year. And I think that is good news for the economy in general. Risk factor has to do with the pressure on the FX for importation. We have realized that every year, getting closer to Christmas, the cedi always depreciates. And this is as a result of the pressure that is mounted on the FX for importation of goods into the country. And so we expect that Bank of Ghana will intervene periodically in the market to make available FX for those who are into international business transactions, to have them in order to cushion and stabilize the cedi.
And that was finance and tax expert Nelson Kujokwabeji. Now, Ghana's Minister for Labour, Jobs and Employment, Rashid Pelpo, says the government is set to review the country's cooperative law. The move follows growing pressure from groups like the Agricultural Producers and Marketing Cooperative Association, AgriCoops, who argue that the existing legislation dating back to 1968 is outdated and no longer reflects the realities of modern cooperative operations.
Cooperatives in Ghana are a lifeline for many communities, supporting livelihoods in agriculture, finance, housing, and retail. By pooling resources, they offer inclusive access to credit, markets, and essential services, especially in underserved areas. Speaking at the 2025 SASCA Congress, Africa's largest financial cooperative event, the minister said the review aims to strengthen governance and expand access to financial services for cooperative members.
The ministry is reviewing the cooperative bill, promoting digital innovation and expanding access to financial services for youth, women, and informal sector access. These interventions underscore our conviction that cooperatives are not peripheral actors in our development story, but central pillars of inclusive and sustainable growth.
Meanwhile, board chairperson of ASOSCA, a Pan-African Confederation of National Associations of Savings and Credit Cooperative Societies, Madame Jeanette Magolo, reiterated her outfit's commitment to supporting the government on its cooperative agenda.
On behalf of Africa cooperative leaders, I express our gratitude to Your Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the Ministry of Labor, Jobs and Employment. ACOSCA stands ready to support your efforts in grassroots development and employment creation through strong cooperative structures.
And that was a report by my colleague Michael Obodu. To one of our headline stories now, Ghanaian consumers should smile for lower fuel prices as the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, COMAC, projects a downward price adjustment for the second pricing window of this month, beginning October 16, 2025. The projected decrease will affect all major petroleum products. There is more in the following 3 Business News Desk reports.
The impending reductions are set to cushion household and business budgets and help Ghana's disinflationary process. According to the latest industry forecasts, oil marketing companies, OMCs, are expected to adjust their prices downwards across the board, with liquefied petroleum gas LPG users enjoying the steepest potential fall. Price of petrol is expected to come down by 2.04% and 4.15%, and that of diesel from 2.08% to 4.10%, while LPG price is expected to decrease by 2.49% to 4.46% after global crude oil prices dipped by 1.43% to $67.47 per barrel. This anticipated drop in fuel prices is driven by a combination of factors, typically including the appreciation of the cedi against the dollar and a fall in international crude and refined product prices and domestic economic recovery. The reductions will likely translate into lower costs in some sectors, easing the inflationary pressures across the country.
And that was a 3 Business News Desk report on the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies projecting fuel price reductions up to 4.46% starting today. This is still Business Daily on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck. I'll start to some other stories. Ghana has been urged to adopt a bolder vision for its rice industry, moving beyond import substitution to become a net exporter of the staple grain. Chairman of the Competitive Africa Rice Platform, CAP, Ghana chapter Yao Edupoku asserted that the country possesses the necessary resources and potential to achieve this ambitious goal. Edupoku called on policymakers to implement comprehensive and deliberate policies designed to fundamentally transform the rice sector.
Ghana stands the chance, if we put our efforts into it, to be the breadbasket when we talk about rice in the sub-region, because there's a huge market for rice in the sub-region. From the ECOWAS data alone, we know that in excess of 5 billion per annum is exchanged into dollars to bring in rice. So just imagine $5 billion every year. For 10 years, that's about $50 billion. This is the money we exchange to bring rice to consumers in the sub-region. We can become producer of rice for the whole West African sub-region, because if you look at $5 billion, which is the lowest estimate ECOWAS is giving us, then it means that rice alone can net Ghana $5 billion annually. If you look at the regions, for example, the OT and the Volta region alone will have enough rice to feed Ghana. You add the northern sector to it, then we are feeding West Africa.
And that was Chairman of the Competitive Africa Rice Platform, CAP, Ghana chapter, Yao Edupoku, bringing us to the end of Business Daily on 3FM 92.7 with me, Bismarck. Also, for more business stories, please check out our website, 3news.com. Thanks for your company.